going to do Anjaneyasana. That is a low crescent lunge. This is a great posture for heart opening, increasing circulation, improving breath, working on balance. Some contraindications for this might be if you have any type of knee issues, hip issues, if you have any type of pulled muscles in your quad or hamstring. Also balance. If you have balance issues, it's good and bad, so really pay attention to how you're feeling there. I wanted to also mention that you can use some props for this video. I've got blocks that I'll be using for hand placement. You can also use a blanket. If you need additional support under the knee, you can roll up your yoga mat and place some additional support under that knee if that's needed as well. And with that said, we're going to get started. I'm going to have you move down onto the mat into child's pose. We're going to just start with a little bit of breath work, inhaling and exhaling. So what I want you to do is bring those big toe mounds together, wide space in between your knees, and we're going to sit back on those heels, elongate those arms, and let the belly sag between our legs. We're going to bring our head down to the mat. If you can't get there, feel okay with placing your forehead on a block or a blanket. If you can get down to the mat, what I'd like for you to do is to come on down. We're going to inhale and exhale, relax position, so we're not engaging anything here. We're just settling into this pose, grounding ourselves into Mother Earth, finding support and in our foundation. And with an inhale here in through your nose, a slight pause at the top, and exhale out through your mouth. We'll do one more just like that. And with your exhale, really let go, let go. So sinking down into the mat, if you can adjust at all to find more comfort, that's fine. Whatever your body is telling you, even if that means bringing your arms back, if it bothers your shoulders, if you want to increase the space in between your legs, taking a couple additional deep breaths here. And today I want you to imagine that we're going to be working on balance and strength and finding a happy place in this pose wherever that is for you today. Take one more breath, inhaling and exhaling. From here, I'd like you to engage your arms, so reaching out with those hands, spreading those fingers wide and placing them down on your mat, and engaging this into an active child's pose position. From here, what I'd like for you to do is to bring yourself up, pulling those hands back, walking them back, and lining your joints here. We're going to be stacking your knees over your hips over your knees. So in one straight line, I'd like it to be hip distance apart here. Right here on our shoulders, we're thinking about aligning our shoulders down with our wrist, spreading those fingers wide. We're going to move in and out of some cat and cow poses. And what I'd like for you to do with an inhale, let that belly sag down and coming up, so you're putting somewhat of a sloped arch in that back. With an inhale, we're looking towards the horizon or down at a foot or so past your mat, wherever is comfortable, or even just keeping your head looking in alignment, your neck in alignment, and looking down. So with an inhale, going into cow and reversing that pose, coming up into cat pose with an exhale. So here you're aiming to look between your legs or up at your belly button or drawstring, putting a large, as much of an arch in that back as you can. Remembering not to lock out your joints here in your elbow. And with an exhale, or an inhale, excuse me, we're coming back into cow pose. And exhaling. And inhaling. And exhaling again, really giving a large bit of arch in that upper back there. And one more time with that exhale, an inhale motion, moving out of cow back into cat with an exhale. From here, I want you to stand on your knees and bring those arms up overhead. Give a little twist in your wrist, since we were putting some pressure on them, and drop that right arm down, leaning over towards the right side with that left side body, giving nice length all the way up. With an inhale, bring that arm up and drop that left side down. We lean over as much as we're comfortable with. And with an inhale, we come up, meeting those hands at the top and floating them back down into our cat-cow tabletop position. From here, we're going to move into our Anjaneyasana. So I'm going to grab my blocks, my props. You can have them in any position that you need, the smallest position, a medium position, the tallest position, whatever works best for you. So with what we're going to do is pull that right foot forward, and we're going to sink into that hip on that left side, really opening up that hip flexor, so the psoas muscle, it's the quad comes up and attaches in this joint area. We do a lot of sitting in our days, so this really helps to encourage and lengthen and open things up. So here you can bring your props. Again, I want you to think about having a firm foundation on this right foot. That knee is stacked over that ankle. It's not jetting forward. We want to keep it in alignment so that we don't create any knee issues here. So if this is your first position here, you can stay here. Dizziness is an issue for you. Perfect. Stay here. Working on balance, stay here. You're very supported. You can take a second position here, moving up to your knee. And your third position is raising your arms up overhead. Now this is a bit of a back bend, so if you have any low back issues, paying attention to what's going on there. We don't want it to be pinching or crunching down on that low back too much for you, so come back here if that's the case, come here, or just modify how far back you go. Coming back down, we're going to drag this right foot back, bringing the left foot forward. Again, think about stacking those joints so that that knee is right over that ankle, not jetting forward. But give yourself enough room so you can really sink into those hips. Now that back leg there, the right leg, the foot, think about the top of the foot pressing that down. That helps to anchor you and give you some additional support. Think about energetically pulling those legs together to provide some close your space in between those legs to help give you balance in this position. So again, position here, third position up here. And allow yourself not to have those hips, one pulling more forward than the other. Concentrate on pulling this left hip back and the right hip forward, sinking down. We're going to find our starting position back in tabletop. And what I like for you to do here is just wag that tail a little. So as if you were a snake slithering along, giving some movement through that spine, loosening things up, bringing our props back onto the mat for us. We're going to pull that right foot forward again, stacking that knee over the ankle, finding the position that's comfortable for you, coming up. From here, we're going to take our right hand, grab that left arm or wrist, and do a slight side bend towards the right side. That gives some nice stretch all the way through, from the knee all the way up through the arm. Coming back up, releasing the hands down, finding our props. We bring our right foot back, left foot forward. Find that foot placement on the mat, allowing that right hip opener, right psoas, hip flexor to open. Finding our hand placement, our arm placement, wherever is most comfortable for you. This time we're going to take our left hand, grab our right wrist, and do a slight side bend towards the left. Now this closes this left side some. It is a nice stretch on the right side. If this is not good for you, you feel unbalanced, You're fine to stay here or just here. Always listen to your body. Bring those hands down, find your props, move them aside, find yourself in tabletop. Again, we're going to do a cat-cow. So letting that belly sag, moving into our cow with an inhale, with an exhale, into your cat position. And every time you move in and out of your cat-cow, try and initiate the movement to start with the tailbone. So you're kind of going all the way up the spinal column. Moving back into your cat. One more time each way. This time we're going to bring those props back in front of us. Finding our stability through our feet, giving us a foundation, making sure our hips are staying in alignment, pressing that back leg, the top of the foot down into the mat, giving yourself some nice support, finding those arms up overhead. No side bend this time. Give me one more deep breath here with an inhale. Bringing those arms back down. Pull that right foot back. Bring your left foot forward. And again, this does get tiresome on the knees. So if it's too much, don't feel like you need to hesitate to grab an extra support for those knees. Pay attention again with any type of knee issue that you might have. With an inhale, bring those arms up. We're going to hang out here for 2 or 3 breaths. Really working on your balance here. Remember to try and energetically pull those legs together, the inner thighs. One more breath. With an exhale, bring those arms back down. This time we're going to move our props aside. We're going to find ourselves in tabletop one more time. We're going to come back into our cat position, exhaling, with an inhale into cow, exhale into cat. Sway those hips side to side, that slithering snake again. And this time, I want you to find whichever side is most comfortable and come down on that hip. You're going to drag your legs forward and find your weight. Find yourself on your back. Whatever the easiest way is to get there for you. What I'd like you to do from here is take your feet to the outside edges of your mat, and we're just going to windshield wiper our knees. That's going to let go in that low back. You'll find some additional stretch through that hip flexor. Letting go of any tension that you might be holding. Try not to clench your jaws, release any frown face. Try and just relax that face. Let go of the work. One more time each side. You should be doing this with an inhale and an exhale. Exhale on the way down. Inhale on the way up. And find your stable position in the center, bringing the feet back, elongating the legs out, finding yourself in Shavasana. Think about relaxing those feet, those ankles, your lower legs. Think about those knees, a little extra care for those knees. They did a lot of work for us today. Allowing those knees to relax. Let the feet fall out if they need to. Coming up to your quad and hamstring, your upper leg, let that relax. Melt into the floor. From here, think about your pelvis region, your abdominal region, upper chest, through the top of here. Think about that lumbar spine, the thoracic, cervical. Think about both arms from the shoulder all the way down to your fingertips, letting go, letting go. Your neck, your head, full weight. Allow the support underneath you to hold you. Unclench that jaw. Start to winkle your fingers and toes, coming back into the space. Rotate those wrists and the feet and ankles, bringing some life back into your body. Pulling your knees up and your feet flat on the floor. Rolling to either the left or right side, whichever is most comfortable. That lower arm is underneath your head to support it. The upper arm is on the floor in front of you. Elongate that upper leg. Push yourself up as a pendulum. Find yourself in a cross-legged position. Hands in front of your heart. Slight bow in that head. Take a moment to take a deep breath in through your nose. Pause at the top for a second and exhale silently, slowly letting it out. Pause at the bottom. Another inhale in, just like that. Pausing at the top slightly. Exhaling out. Pausing at the bottom. And now we just breathe naturally. Take this time to appreciate the time on your mat, what your body can and will do for you. Appreciate the moments that you listened to your body and respected what it needed. I thank you for being with me today. Peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, peaceful heart.